Hello everyone, I'm Hillary with Dominion Tea, and today we could start in our brand new space. So we are now at 210 North 21st Street in Suite F. So not all the decorations or my wall units are in yet, but they'll be here shortly. So come visit us. And before you do, let's kind of talk a little bit about March's tea flight. So we're going to talk about white tea. So why white tea? Well, it's March, so it is the start of the harvest season in China, and they're going to harvest white tea. It also gives me an excuse to kind of put into the picture cherry blossom white. So for those of us in the DC region, our cherry blossoms are due to bloom here on about March 20th, if the National Park Service has got their timing right. So this is going to be a beautiful month for us. And it's always a great experience to go down to the tidal basin and see them. So let's talk white tea. A couple of things to note. Right. So if you have not drunk white tea before, you need to brew it at a lower temperature. So somewhere between 160 to 175 degrees. I would tell you start at 175, work your way down if you want to. It's a personal preference. 3 minutes is your steep time. Don't go over. You start to go over, you're burning the tea. So you're going to get tannic acid out. It's going to come out a lot more bitter than you would otherwise get. Couple things about white tea. Yes, especially with our first one here, Bai Hao Silver Needle, it is going to brew practically clear. It does have some color, but it is very light. What you're going to notice, this is a great exercise in paying attention to your palate and paying attention to your descriptions of flavor and actually paying attention to your tea while you drink it. So these are lighter flavors, they are floral, they're slightly grassy, but they are to be appreciated. These are teas, don't stick sugar in it. It's gonna stop you from tasting it. So start with your first cup. Absolutely re-steep. So you can do 2 to 3 steepings on these and not lose your floral background on it. So your Bai Hao Silver Needle, out of China, right? This is the bud of the tea plant. These things are gorgeous. They are prized for the silver hair on the outside of the bud. That's a natural defense mechanism for the tea plant. It keeps the insects from landing on the bud and chewing on it. And so those silver hairs are very prized. What you will find as you brew, they will fall off. You will absolutely not feel them when you drink, so don't worry about it. It adds a little bit to the mouthfeel, but it's a beautiful white tea to start with and to play with. Our next one comes out of Nepal. So this is our Himalayan White. This is the bud and the first leaf of the tea plant. So you get both of them. You're going to notice it brews slightly darker. That's because you're now dealing with the first leaf. They have allowed it to oxidize more. So when we talk about the oxidation of white tea, you're between 1% and 5%. There's actually a difference there. Doesn't sound like much from a number standpoint, but from a visual standpoint, you're going to go from practically clear to a light yellow in your brew. This one, also high elevation, like your Bai Hao Silver Needle, but because you're out in Nepal, you're going to get a slightly different flavor profile. You're absolutely floral. You're going to be a little bit more creamy because of the additional tea leaf. And as I mentioned earlier, last but not least is Cherry Blossom White. So this is one of our blends where we have taken white peony, blended it with rose petals, cherry, and safflower to give you kind of a celebration of spring here for DC. And to honor our cherry blossoms. So this is just a fun one to play with as well. So as you get out there in March and start to enjoy our spring here in DC, don't forget to try your white tea. We hope you enjoyed learning more about tea with us. Hit the subscribe button so that you can be notified when we add more videos to our channel. And check out the highlighted videos to learn even more about tea. And last but not least, you can check out all of the teas we talk about in our videos at dominiontea.com.